Superboy number 18, written by Scott Lobdell, Tom DeFalco, and Tony Lee, art by R.B. Silva and Iban Coelho, which, for how little of a story there is in this book, I don't know how there's that many people working on it. So, Hell on Earth happened, and we never have to speak of it again, apparently, because Superboy is just back to exactly where he was before all of that happened, where he is returning all of the money that he stole before, which was like $1 million, and apparently he's short a couple 100,000 because, living expenses, but he's putting it all away and he's saying, I'm going to turn myself into the police because I'm growing a conscience. When all of a sudden, a radioactive man named Plasmus, Plasmus has a German accent, by the way, and I only mention that because they make at least 3 different jokes about, oh, he sounds like Schwarzenegger this whole time. I'm going to spare that from you, but just know he speaks with a German accent. So he breaks into the vault, and he's like, oh, I'm going to be taking all of the money. And Superboy's like, well, I can't let you do that. And he's like, I can just kill you. Like, I'm superheated. Like, get out of here. So then Superboy and him start fighting, and that just goes on for the rest of the issue with no real change. The actual focus of this issue is Dr. Psycho, who I always thought was a Wonder Woman villain, but is apparently here. And Dr. Psycho is acting as a psychic in Midtown Manhattan, and he uses his abilities of mental probing and psychic stuff in order to give like a half-assed little psychic reading, but mostly steal people's like financial stuff and then rob them later. So he's just breaking into this woman's mind and stealing her ATM info. When all of a sudden Dr. Psycho hears this fight going on outside, and he's like, oh, sweet, maybe there'll be aliens. I could use their tech, because last time I stole some alien tech, it was from an alien that didn't have hands like us, so I couldn't use it. And then you see Superman fighting Plasmus, and he's just like, oh my god, I'm feeling all this telekinetic energy coming off of them. I want that energy, which I don't know if that's really a thing he has the ability to do, but apparently it is. So at that point, he is forcibly put into an astral form and goes inside of Superboy's body without him even wanting to, and he sees Superboy inside of a vat of ooze, and he's like, is this like a metaphor of how we're all trapped in society, or is this like an actual memory? And then he sees outside of the vat are all of the Teen Titans, all of the Ravagers, and also that dude from the beginning of the book with the like shade tentacle stuff. I can't even remember his name anymore, but regardless, they're all there. And it's like, oh, he wants to be free. He wants to join them, but he's unable to. Oh, I get the metaphor now. And then all of a sudden he's forced out of his body, and he literally flies past Superboy's brain, and he feels one of the punches Superboy takes, and suddenly he's back in his own body. And he's like, he is face to face with Superboy. Superboy's like, I'm sorry, who are you? He's like, I'm Dr. Psycho. And he's like, I'm sorry, what? He's like, never mind. And then the fight continues. And then Dr. Psycho puts together like, okay, but wait a minute. If I get back into that body, but instead I take the driver's seat, then I can control those telekinetic abilities. That's what I'll do. And so he gets back in there, but now instead of being in the happy fun time part that he was at before, he's in this dark void with a whole bunch of tendrils around him, and a voice reaches out saying, oh, I was wondering when you'd be here. I've been waiting for you. It's time to learn who you are. And it appears to be Lex Luthor in like a power suit that is telling the astral form of Dr. Psycho that. Just listen to that last sentence I said again and really take apart how little sense that makes. And that's basically the whole issue. I don't even know where to begin here. Like, okay, let's just... Superboy's turning himself in because he grew conscious and now he's fighting a guy named Plasmus. Fine, whatever. That is literally the weakest framing device I could imagine. But then we throw in this idea of Dr. Psycho is inside of Superboy's conscience, and it sounds like next issue he's going to learn Superboy's origin because this Lex Luthor part of his personality or something thinks that Superboy is Dr. Psycho, or vice versa. Sure. Why not? You know, after Hell on Earth made a little bit too much sense for a bit too long, they just had to throw out this whole thing of like, oh, but like, what if dumb? I guess you could tell I really don't enjoy this issue. It's not that it's awful writing. It is, though. There's one point in here where the best one-liner that Superboy can come up with is "made you look," and then he says like, "Hey, when you're fighting a supervillain, Louis C.K., you're not gonna be." Which I could not think of a more dated line than that if you paid me. Yeah, nah, it's just I get they're setting up this other thing, but like Superboy himself has met up with at least 3 different people who can read minds. Why in the hell are we not just... Why do we have to introduce Dr. Psycho into the mix to get this to happen? Just go to any other one of the mind reintroduce them. Then you don't have to do the busy work of like, oh, we're introducing this new character as well. Because it's done so poorly here as well. Like, I have no idea what Dr. Psycho's mind powers are. Apparently, it's mind reading in astral form, but then he also thinks he can control telekinetic energy. I don't get it. This was a poor setup and a poor execution. So overall, I got to give this one like a 3.5. I'm not really enjoying any of it. Art, I will at least say, is competently done. I followed the story, but like, this is the worst framing device for an origin setup I could ever imagine.